today's episode, since we are not Roland and Reyna today, I'm very excited because my best friend, my sister, is out here from San Diego. So today is actually the first episode of a special 4-part series that we're doing. So my sister, Chriselle.
Hello.
We are going to be talking about some different relationship things from two girls' perspective. Obviously, me being in a relationship and my sister being a sassy single right now. So we're going to discuss some things that Roland and I couldn't really touch on before because, it's a little bit different dynamic when you've got a couple speaking about relationship things as opposed to two girlfriends speaking about relationship things. So obviously, we are not in our teen years anymore, although sometimes we act like it. We're a little bit more mature ladies. So we've definitely had our fair share of
dating fun,
crappy relationships and dating. And some of the things that we're going to touch on in the other episodes have to do with, dating and how horrendous it can be.
Putting it lightly.
Right. Especially if you have been in a long-term relationship for a while and then trying to get back out into the dating scene and the pitfalls that come along with that. And so we're going to touch on those probably in the next couple episodes. But in this episode, we are going to discuss going into the dating scene.
Oh, fun.
So like I was saying, we are a little bit older. We're not going to discuss how much older. We're just going to say that we are older ladies and mature ladies. And for me, I had a series of long-term relationships with dating in between. And my experiences obviously are very different than my sister's. And, so tell us a little bit about you. And, obviously our listeners aren't familiar with you. They've heard me talk many, many, many times. But let's talk about you. Like, where are you at right now besides here right now doing this podcast? Talk about your most recent relationship, like your serious relationship, have you ever been married? Just tell us a little bit about you so that the listeners understand.
I've been married twice. Both were about 10 years. So they were both long-term relationships. So majority of my adult life, I have been in relationships. So this is the first time I've been single for a long time. And I've been single now for 4 years and had a few little small relationships in between. Okay.
So you're really kind of fresh on the scene. So it's almost like backwards.
Yes.
Whereas most people are single up in the front and then settle down, get married, and usually end up right back here again.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So how difficult has it been for you to jump into the dating scene? Because obviously it's a lot different now than, let's say, like in our late teens or early 20s. You have all the social media, you have all this other stuff. Where do you find yourself primarily? Like, how are you meeting people?
Now, nowhere. At first, it was... I kind of jumped back in and it seemed to be kind of the same thing as it was before. I would go out, meet people, and it just kind of clicked, just kind of happened. And then I experimented with online dating, and that was very special. That's been a very interesting, we'll call it a journey.
Do you think that it's easier to meet people online, or what is the difference that you've seen between being in person, like meeting someone organically, let's say, through a friend or you're at an event, as opposed to seeing them online or doing online dating?
Online, you don't know what you're dealing with. Mm-hmm. That person could be fake. You don't know if you have that instant chemistry, whereas in person, you do. for the most part,
Right.
because they could still be creeps. But
Right.
at least you get the feel for them up front, which
Mm-hmm.
is nice. Whereas online, they could be projecting something that they're not,
Mm-hmm.
or they could not even be that same person.
I mean, I think that could be the same in person, though. I mean, we've both had experiences where someone pretended to be something that they weren't,
Very
at the
true.
very beginning of the relationship. And then, a little bit of time goes by, and then lo and behold, okay, this is not the person that I initially started dating. I don't know what happened to that other person.
Very true. Very true.
Okay, so when I got out of my last long-term relationship before Roland, I I was kind of afraid to try online dating, so I really went the safe route, and I went to one of the paid sites, and obviously a couple months and some really weird people in there. Luckily met Roland, and the rest is history. Are there any, do you prefer the sites? Like, do you think that there's a difference between the sites where you're paying or the ones that are free and you can just download? Or do you find that there's a difference in the caliber of guy, or are they all just kind of the same?
For me, they were all the same. It didn't matter which one I went to, whether I paid, whether they were free. It didn't matter.
Do you think it has to do with geography? Like, do you think that maybe where you are attempting to do the dating has anything to do with it? Now, I'm not hating on my Cali folk because I love y'all.
But guys are a little bit douchier out there.
They're a little bit, I wasn't going to say douchier, but yeah, they're a little different out there. And I think it has to do with I don't want to say progressiveness because that's not the right word, but everything happens so quickly out there. So to me, it's kind of, I get the vibe that if you're replaceable, no one wants to work on anything. Whereas, out here on the East Coast, particularly where I'm at now, people they're willing to work at it a little bit more. Don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of douchebags out here, but I think the demographics has a little bit to do with it. I don't know. What do you think?
I can't speak on the demographics for out here because I'm out there, but
Right.
the irreplaceable thing, or I'm sorry, the replaceable, people don't value relationships, I think, as much out there. There are 10 women, and you know what? You sneezed on our first date. I'm done.
Right. Yeah, I've noticed that too. And that's something, excuse me, that's something that is a big thing. There's beautiful women everywhere, but it seems like there is a super high concentration of beautiful women in Southern California.
Yes.
And I can absolutely understand. I am definitely outside the typical demographic when it comes to like a California girl. I'm tall. I'm a little bit thicker.
Me too.
You are tall, but you are not thick. My sister is gorgeous, everybody. But
Whatever.
anyway. So I can absolutely understand. And like you said, you sneezed on the first date, or you wore the wrong color shoes on the first date, and that's an excuse or a reason to.
And I'm guilty. I've done it too. Like, oh, you wore that? Oh, you weren't thinking.
So you bring up a good point. Has there ever been a date that you've gone on that the guy was a good guy, seemed like a nice guy, and you just were like, I don't think so?
They may have been. Maybe I just didn't give them a chance. But they seemed boring, or for whatever reason. Like, you want details?
Like, was there no chemistry?
I had a couple that were absolutely no chemistry. One that didn't understand I didn't like vegetarian food and still took me to a vegetarian restaurant. That was weird. And then tried to kiss me. Weird. Awkward.
Oh.
Yeah. One that just I don't know if he was high or what his issue was, but he was just like not there.
Oh my.
Yeah. Some very interesting people sometimes.
Wow. So you didn't come across any that were nice guys that, because I'm trying to find out if we are doing it too, if we are disregarding the nice guys when we're not, you know what I mean? Like, are we giving them a chance, or are there just nothing but weirdos out there?
When I first came out of the long-term relationship, the first person that I dated after, I will legitimately say he was a very nice guy. And actually, him and I still talk as friends. But I realized into it, he wanted something that I couldn't give him.
Mm-hmm.
And I was not ready for another relationship. I had a lot of healing I needed to do.
Right.
So I really stepped back.
Did you tell him that?
Up front, I did not.
Mm-hmm.
And I acted like one of those guys that we would probably complain about.
Right.
I did, however, I think about a year ago, him and I actually had a really long conversation, and he called me out on it.
Mm.
And I told him what happened. He was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. Again, we're still good friends. He is a legitimate good person.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I had to end it because I wasn't ready.
Right. And what's his situation? Has he moved on? Is there a chance you guys could have something?
He doesn't live in California anymore, so... Oh, wait, traveling
experience.
Right. I don't know. We haven't talked about that. I don't know if I still don't know if I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of still having, not fun, but doing all the stuff that I wanted to do.
Right.
So I'm not there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe I'll call him tomorrow and find out.
Well, this has been the intro to the next couple episodes that you are going to be hearing from me and Chriselle. And we're going to be discussing some other things in the next couple episodes. So we wanted to kind of give you a little intro. And I wanted to introduce you to her and give you a background to her. And we are going to, our next episode is going to be a good one.
Of course.
We're going to be talking about opening up, or how difficult it is to open up after you've been in a really long-term relationship. So stick around for that, guys. Thank you for joining us. Until next time, everybody.